Okay. The reason why I think everybody, and you said, are you a solo traveler or not? I really don't care whether you end up being a solo traveler or not. But should you travel solo? Yes or no? And for me, I'm like that new convert, right? So for me, it's so vibrant and so obvious, right? It for me became I follow that same worldview that the world is awesome. So you go out and you enjoy, everything will be good.
Yeah.
Right? But the one thing that happened for me in that was, one, you inherently start trusting yourself more.
Yeah.
That is because you have stepped out. For me, it was that no agenda trip, right? X amount of time. I hadn't even stipulated how much time. Just said, go out. Whether it's, and it wasn't going to be a long one. It was going to be 3 days, 4 days, whatever it was, right? But I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going to stop. I have no plan, right? In that, somehow, I came back with the sense of that it's okay, man. You take this turn or that turn, you stop here or there. It's good.
It's good.
The world is good. You always knew that. You went about your way and you ended up enjoying yourself more than you expected.
Correct.
And the second part to that, you could easily say that you could do it with a group of friends, with a set of people you already know. Of course you can. But I think what the beauty of solo travel was, that you may discover new facets of yourself.
Yeah.
And to me, that became such... I saw different parts. Like I went to Goa. I ended up going to Goa, the cliche. But in that, so many things happened.
Yeah.
Right? I met people I would have never met otherwise.
Correct.
If I'd gone with my friends,
Yeah, you won't look out. You look in.
it would just be, you would be following that same routine. You would be doing the same set of things.
Yeah.
But here I ended up bumping into people who I would have never met.
Correct.
There were teachers who were from... There's somebody from Europe who was a teacher. There was a young boy from Germany who had driven down and then was working in Goa and stuff like that. In just a span of a day and a half, somebody who had moved from UK and was doing up villas in Goa and stuff like that. It was unbelievable meeting all these different sets of people just because it was like, hey, I don't have a plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved it.
It's a very powerful thought. Okay. The thing about traveling with friends is that you're engaging with the friends the whole time. So your receptors, as it were, are pointed inward to a group you know. So they can't receive external stimuli, as it were. Right? I'm not very social, honestly, but every time I've traveled alone, it has forced me, it has been encouragement to deal with other people at whatever level is available at that point of time. Because look, antisocial I may be, but biologically I'm still a social human being. Right? So, do I have long conversation with petrol pump attendants? Yes, if I'm traveling alone. No, if I'm traveling in a group.
For an antisocial person, he's the most chatty person in office, just FYI.
Yeah, I'm garrulous, but not social, as odd as that is. No, so I'm saying, when I pull into a petrol pump alone, I'm willing to have a conversation. If, let's say, there's a chai guy outside the petrol pump, I'm willing to have a conversation. But when I'm in a group of friends, I am stressing about which of these friends is going to delay our plan.
No.
So I have no time to chat to anyone. I just want to, like, okay, let's go, man. Let's go.
Let's get with the program.
Let's get with the program. Let's keep this thing moving, right? So the control being with me in terms of my time schedule versus the control being shared in a group, it makes me uncomfortable. So I do a lot more social engagement when I'm alone than I would with my friends. And with my friends, I'm engaging with them and not with everybody else. Right? So when somebody says, what bike is that? Let's say I'm on the multistrada. What bike is that? It's a longish conversation. But when I'm in a group of 3 or 4 and somebody says, what bike is that? It's a multistrada. Average kitna hai? Whatever, 15. And you don't want to deal with them because if they start having a conversation too, we're about to get delayed. Right? I remember this stop I made in the middle of Odisha somewhere. It's roughly in the area where you go to the bird sanctuary. What's that called? The one with the saltwater lake. The name will come to me, I'll tell you. So I stopped. Breakfast time. And I had basically ignored 10 dhabas and I was looking like this the whole time. And you know how uncomfortable that face is when that 15 minutes of, should I stop here? Should I stop there? And you're alone, right? So there's nobody to say, okay, I decided that one. You just do this, right? So I stopped at what turned out to be a bus stop.
Okay.
So there was a road from the villages that would come out there and there was a fairly important bus stop. So I stopped there. And massive bike, lots of luggage. And I was heading to West Bengal for a wedding in the family. I just decided not to fly there or take a train. I was on the multi that day because, hey, I had time. stopped. Some dude comes up to me and says that your bike. He says, yeah, what is it like? And we started talking. And then I said, so what is good to eat here? That in the next 20 minutes led to 8, 9 different people trying to feed me the various things that were available and telling me what the specialities were. This is
Super.
a bus stop, okay? This is not like some gourmet place.
Yeah.
These are poor people. They refuse to take money from me on principle.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They said, what are you paying for? We are feeding you, right? And then I said, look, I can't eat much. So then the shopkeeper started giving me half portions of everything. Right? So in that 10 minutes, an antisocial idiot like me was suddenly welcomed by a group of 8, 9 people who were trying to make sure that ye chola alag hai. This is not available elsewhere. You should
Oh,
try it like
wow.
this. This has to be eaten with this puri. This puri has something in it, which is... It was very sweet of them. It was very warm and welcoming of them. I am not convinced that if I were in a car that day, or if I was in a group that day, this entire interaction would have happened. Right? When I traveled between, I had quit Power Drift. No, I had quit Overdrive. I hadn't joined Power Drift. I was on a long trip that time. I was alone and I went all over the south of India. Everywhere I went, when they realized I was traveling alone as a motorcyclist, I had more interactions, more questions, more answers, more suggestions, including that one stretch. I think the road into Madurai was being built. It was a 6-lane road and it was not marked. But somebody from the hotel said, if you're going in that direction, that road is open to motorcyclists.
Okay.
It's not open to public traffic. It's almost 15, 20 kilometers long already. Watch for the diversions at the end. But there's no policing. It's a great surface. There's no other traffic. It's the safest thing you can do because I would be arriving in the dark. Right? You get onto that road and you realize he basically put me on a road where in theory I could have set cruise control at 160 and sat and it was perfectly safe because most of it was elevated.
Oh, wow.
So it was not just off limits. It was not just complete. It was elevated. There was no way that somebody could jump across the road and surprise you.
Local knowledge.
Local knowledge.
Yeah.
And to me, these are the advantages of solo travel. What people worry about is what happens if there's a crash? What happens if there's a crash and then the villagers surround you and all of that side of the drama? What happens when things are not going to plan? And yeah, they're legit worries.
Absolutely.
But statistically, how often is this likely to happen is the real thing that you have to work out.
Whoa. You made it through a video that's way longer than 1 minute. We might be onto something here. In which case, head to the MotorInc channel and there might be a next challenge waiting for you there.